Yazzo, what it do, man? Before we start, you see the hat? You see it? It's a Libra hat. Yeah, Libra. My birthday was yesterday. I turned 40. I'm gonna put the link for the merch in the description. But yeah, if you know any Libras out there, definitely copping one of these. Is dope. See, I turned 40 yesterday. I know I don't look it. Get carded still when I go out to certain bars and whatnot. That's fine. It is what it is. But you know, it's a milestone, especially for me, a black man in this country. Because you know, whenever I leave the house, I'm being hunted and preyed upon, right? With systemic racism and police brutality and what discrimination. You have to pray to make it home when I leave the house. No, I'm joking. I don't think like that. I live in the real world. I don't live on the internet. So yeah, that's not my mindset at all. Not even a little bit. But like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Let's get to it. Talk about ratings, ESPN, First Take, Stephen A. Smith, all that. Now the ratings just came out for First Take since Max Kellerman was kicked off the show for false reasons. He got kicked off by according to Stephen A. Smith, he did it. He's a boss now, you know. He went on a weird tour telling people how he single-handedly was responsible for Max Kellerman getting off the show because numbers that he saw online were showing that people wanted Max Kellerman off the show. Where you find these numbers at? Let me guess, Twitter. Twitter told you, you know how I feel about Twitter. Twitter's not real. It's only a small group of people, elitists, who are on Twitter. Not that many of them, but they believe that's the real world. But it's not. That's a fake world. I live in the real world. I know what's really going on. They don't. They stay on there in that little bubble and they think that's what matters and that's what's real, but it's not. So they kicked Max Kellerman off the show. I said he believed Twitter, which is absolutely nonsense. Because as you can see now, he's not on the show, but the ratings are still getting worse. So that means they had a problem before he left the show, right? And for Stephen A. being the face of that show and probably the network, to sit there and blame it on him for the ratings, yes, it shows me a lot about his character. That'd be like Batman not being able to save Gotham City and trying to blame Robin for it, right? No, that's not. No, you can't do that. If you the man, be the man at all times, not sometimes or half the time. No, it's your fault. It's Stephen A. Smith's fault actually that the ratings are bad on First Take, and probably ESPN as a whole, right? Because it started from last year when they had the whole social justice movement. You know, George Floyd, no justice, no peace, and ESPN, especially First Take, because that's one of their most popular, probably the most popular show, turned into this social justice platform instead of a sports platform. And they were, you know, Black Lives Matter out, and they were, you know, talking about racism and systemic racism, and got grown men on that network crying now about every little racist act that they see now, and it just turned people off tremendously. And Stephen A. Smith had a big part to do with it because he literally did a 180. He has become such a big sellout that it's scary. It's scary the kind of power that I think these people do have over somebody who portrays himself to be like the boss for the people and know that he is completely a turncoat at this point. But he got his money and he let it be known once he got his money that, you know, he's not going to be the same Stephen A. Smith because of the money. And he makes $12 million a year. I know the network told him, $12 million, you're going to do more than talk about sports. I don't know who told you what. You're not just going to be talking about basketball. You're going to have to be an agenda pusher, narrative spinner, whatever we need you to go out there and say and do, you're going to do it, and you're going to do it with a smile on your face. And he's doing it. I mean, he said it in a tweet. He put out a tweet a few months back saying the first thing he does when he wakes up in the morning is figure out how to make more money for his bosses and how he can get a piece of that. That just sounded horrible when he tweeted that. I'm just sitting there like, jeez, please say it ain't so. Like, he basically letting you know I'm selling out all the way, and he is doing a hell of a job of being a sellout. I will say that he is doing an A1 job of that. The numbers reflect it because he's the reason why I stopped watching the show. Man, yeah, because I've known him before to be different, more logical when it came to certain topics, especially about racism. Like, he wasn't just a go along, get along. He actually had like a logical approach to a lot of issues. But now that's gone. That's gone. He got the money. He got the bag. He got convinced to get rid of Max Kellerman. He went out there on that tour, and I know he was forced to do that. That is not something you do. I've never seen that done where a host just goes in on his co-host the way he did, basically in public. These are matters that are handled privately. You know, little gossip things might come out, rumor stuff, but for somebody to go out there and actually take credit for it, that doesn't happen. So I know that was forced. He didn't want to do that probably, but they made him do it because you got paid. This is what you do now. You are our puppet, and you're gonna do whatever we tell you to do. Because at this point, he might as well just go on The View. He might as well sit with Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and just sit with them old ladies and just, you know, that's it. That's what he is now. He's a water carrier to the highest level, and it's obvious to see. It's so obvious, and it's sad, and that's why the ratings are down. It had nothing to do with Max Kellerman. They're trying to spin it to cover themselves. Because I guarantee you, if the ratings are going this bad now, that means they were heading downward. They were declining, and they're still trying to figure out what the internet's talking about, Twitter and all that. No, the real world is beginning to see right through these phonies because it's so obvious. They don't know how to hide it. They don't know how to hide it, seriously, because the hardest thing to be in this world is something that you're not. So when people just look at you like, that's not you, bing, they just turn you off. They just cancel you. We can cancel people too, and we do that by not watching you, which is why the ratings look so bad. And now he's going in on his vaccine. He is a vaccine warrior. He is pushing it so hard, and especially on NBA players for some reason. He's going after LeBron, Kyrie. He actually said LeBron is the reason why he blamed LeBron for deaths. Out of his own mouth, he quoted, and this is a quote, "Do you know how many lives LeBron James could have saved if he would have pushed the vaccine sooner?" How do you put that on somebody? How do you put that on LeBron James and say, what was he supposed to do? He decided to come out when he felt comfortable coming out, which is his business, his life, his body, his family, and announced that he was vaccinated, and they're mad at him for not doing it sooner. Do you believe how crazy these people are? This is unbelievably crazy. So that he puts deaths on LeBron James. Kyrie Irving is unvaccinated, and he's not budging, and he shouldn't. He was put in a position where he was told by the league he would have an exemption. He would not be forced to take it, and now look. So they went back on their word. He's standing his ground. He said, "I'm not taking it. My body, my choice," and that's exactly how it should be. That's exactly what it should be. You shouldn't be pressured or bullied into doing something with your body that you don't have to do. Stephen A. Smith gets on his soapbox, calls him very selfish. I mean, he's just going in on him. He's being disrespectful. He's talking crazy. And he's being disingenuous because he's calling him a selfish player. How was that selfish? How could you put those two things in the same category? That makes no sense. We're not talking about playing with your team and sharing the ball. We're talking about putting something in your body that you're not comfortable with. That's totally different than being selfish. So now what Stephen A. Smith is doing, he's starting to get personal. He's starting to bring up old things in his past about he was selfish when last season, and he was selfish a couple years ago. Like, this is a pattern. He's just a selfish guy. And that's the farthest thing from the truth, in my opinion. Like, why wouldn't he want to be out there playing? His team, the Brooklyn Nets, are championship contenders. He could be playing right now and he could literally win a championship this year with Kevin Durant and James Harden. Why would he not want to be out there if it was about being selfish, right? But make it seem that you not taking the vaccine, you don't care about anybody else. That's just a cop out, and that's some goofy sucker shit right there that Stephen A. Smith is doing. Because when you get the flu shot, people don't get the flu shot because they're protecting other people. They get it to protect themselves from other people. And that's how it should be with the vaccine. Like, they have the vaccinated so afraid in this country that they're forgetting they're the ones that should be happy about it. Like, you got it. You shouldn't have to be worrying about COVID anymore, right? Because they told you if you get it, then you're protected and you don't have to worry. But they got the vaccinated so scared that they really believe that the unvaccinated are trying to kill them. That's the narrative being pushed, and for Stephen A to go up there and basically co-sign that, that shows you he's no longer one of us. He's one of them now. He's gone. He's never coming back. So if you continue to watch the show, which I don't, I stopped watching it for that reason. This is what you're going to continue to see. It's exactly what this is what you're going to continue to see. Now, it's your body, your choice, it's your freedom of choice. And as an American, this is your right. You don't have to, you can decline certain things if you want to, especially if you feel it's going to hurt you or whatever your reason is. Who cares what your reason is? If you don't want to do it, just say you don't want to do it. But yeah, that's what's happening. That's why the ratings are down. And as you can see, Stephen A. Smith is still towing the line, pushing the narrative. And I feel sorry for him and anybody else who watches that show anymore, because that show has become so politicized that they don't even speak about sports anymore. Have you even heard them talk about basketball as far as a sport? No, everything is COVID, vaccine, and that's it. But keep your eyes open, man. Like, this stuff is getting easier to spot now because they're pushing it so hard. You can't not see it. And if you can't not see it, go back to bed. But that's my time. Like, comment, subscribe, like, comment. I hate being woke, and I'm out.